Hey everyone, Robert G. Solomon coming to you from South Studio One with the Smart Start podcast, designed for inspiring entrepreneurs. Hey everybody, I wanted to talk about not necessarily email success, maybe more or less like the cover title here, Curiosity Never Killed Email Success. But I think technology has to some degree. You know, while the circles of apps and different methods to contact or engage your customers will change, and it does all the time, sometimes monthly. But your ideas need to stay current, or trendy, if you want to say that. The not-so-secret idea to keep your future subscribers wanting more is obvious. You know, you have to know that that's why you're in business. You want people to like to read what you write, or like to learn from what you teach. But how do you pique their curiosity over and over again and not repeat the same concepts and ideas or methods over and over? You have a mouth, you have fingers. Maybe you should ask your audience for starters. Make an email, do a video, do an audio, asking them what they think. They have any questions? Email me, call me, text me. You get it, right? You might recall on the robertgsolomon.com website, I wrote an article about different ways that we learn, humans, how our learning process is, you know, either visual learner, audible learner, hands-on learner. I'd like you to have a PDF. Just go down in the description box, take a quick survey so I could see how I could help you, and put in there learning PDF. There's a space where I ask you some questions, and I'll send you that PDF. It's pretty interesting. Anywho, getting on here, you know, emails or posts. Here, check it out. Do you think if you wrote a 1,500-word blog post, you know, and don't worry, that's not super long either. Do you think if you did that, you could reword your post while keeping the same results? Not 1,500 words, but keep the meaning, the context of your 1,500-word blog post. Sure you can. It's done every day. You read a book, you read a magazine, or study an article on the internet. You know, as long as you're getting information from credible, reputable sources, what do? Well, you take notes. You put those ideas and concepts that you read, you process it, and you write it down, I guess if you want to say it, in your own words, to make it simple, you know, how you understood it. That's the biggest thing. People, you get 5 people, they could read maybe an article on email marketing, and they all will write something different because everybody understands things differently. So you want to make sure that people are understanding your work, how you intended them to understand it. If that makes sense, I'll probably say that again somewhere. Sure, people always ask me, well, geez, you think I could do that? Sure you could. And believe me, if you're really out there to help your subscribers, they'll be looking forward to the message. You know, whatever it is you're writing about, if it's network marketing or health and fitness. But the important thing is the people you're trying to reach, they want to know you get it. They want to know you understand them, their struggles or pains. You know, not to sound dramatic, but people need to be understood. Personally, they don't really care how much money you have. They don't care if you got 20 cars. They care about how much money you can make them. What can you do for them? Me. Right? Well, that's why they come to you, because you're claiming to be the boss. Not the boss, but, you know, the authority. That's where I struggle sometimes. I always like to make things perfect. It takes me it's 3 times harder for me to learn something that somebody else would. So I always had a fight to learn ideas. It didn't sink in as easily. That's why I wrote that article about in different ways that people learn. That will really help you. But what I'm getting to is when you take on a responsibility of a small business or some entity that's dealing with helping people with whatever it is, you know, whatever you're doing to attract them to you, don't be a prick. Don't be condescending. I'm sure we can all choke our boss, or wanted to choke our boss for being condescending, but we don't, because we need that job. And everybody needs a job. You know, you need to pay bills. You need to have money for your children, your house, your mortgage. And if you're starting a business, you definitely need some money on the side to fund your business. Give yourself more credit. Just remember, you have talents others are searching for. What? Yeah, you do. For an example, did you ever write an email follow-up series? I'm not talking 30 follow-up series. Did you write a 5-part, 5-day email series? Or just 5? Let's keep it simple. Or have you got 20 likes on a Facebook post about, your next webinar, a new PDF or ebook you wrote? Well, if you answered yes, then guess what? People want to know how the hell you did it. I'm always curious about, how'd they do that? But sometimes they make it so cryptic, it actually gets frustrating to keep being led around. Okay, come to this webinar, you'll learn my secrets to 20 likes. You leave the webinar and you're like, what was that next webinar? What did he say? You were excited, but you didn't learn nothing about 20 likes. You get me? And I'm sure you've been there before. So, like my mentor told me the other day, matter of fact, I actually got some time with him. He said, sometimes the obvious is the answer we don't always see. Well, I sort of paraphrased it, but you get it. I hope you do. You ever get a post on Facebook and it's got a bunch of dots, pixels, colors, and it says, if you can see this, then you're miraculous, whatever. Might be, there's a number in those, or there's a picture. But some people don't see that right away, but as soon as they see it, that's all they see afterwards. So I hope you follow me on that. So you got talent. You may not think you do, but you do. You wrote a 5 email follow-up series. Maybe you modified it a little bit. Maybe it's doing well. Maybe it's not. You got to figure out where your people drop off in that series. Then you got to fix it from there. Like I believe I said that in Wednesday's audio broadcast. But here, did you ever in your life learn something for the guys, maybe from Hot Rod TV or Discovery Channel, about a Chevrolet engine? And, if you like fooling around with car engines and stuff like that, then when the next time you're around your buddies or wherever you go, you use that newly learned information in a conversation, like you're an expert or something with Chevy engines. Well, at that moment you are, because your buddies didn't know that. They didn't know you could bolt 4 barrels on a Chevy V8. Well, that's pretty cool. Well, maybe they did, but they didn't know how to do it, and you recorded that. Hey, send me that recording. I want to see how they did that. You learned something. People look to you as maybe not an expert. That's an overused word. Here, how about the ladies? Have you ever found an awesome recipe that made you the best mom in the world? Or hell, maybe you like the Chevy engine and you'll show your husband a few things or two. Or your boyfriend. Or maybe they do the cooking and they have the best ribs this side of the Mississippi. I don't know. But it's starting to make sense. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to pique people's curiosity. You sort of have to do opposite what everybody else is doing out there. Not opposite in the real sense of left, then you do right, but sort of. Study people that are successful in the industry. You see what they're saying, you watch their webinars, you read their posts. Learn from that stuff, but research it as well. Is there any holes in their information? If you were the person following that individual, would you say, they don't talk about what do you do on a welcome email? Because I said you have a 5 follow-up email series. I didn't say nothing about the welcome email. I know I heard welcome email somewhere. So you learn from what he wrote or she wrote. You add some new stuff. No different than what you do in college or high school. You take notes on your $250 8-page book or Kindle, whatever they're doing these days. You don't use it verbatim, but you use the concepts in that information you learned or are learning and process it into your own words. But just like I said in the beginning, you got to make sure what you're saying or what you're writing or wanting your teacher or your people, your subscribers, you want to make sure they're going to learn what you intend to teach. Probably the best way to say it. Just start creating emails. your list, your subscribers joined your list for a reason. Follow that path if you follow me here. If they joined your list to learn about emails and doing the follow-up emails, that's what they want to learn. Then you could ask them if there's anything else, or I'm going to continue on with this into the next part of what do you do after the emails. And I always say, when you're doing anything like that, actually I read this the other day, it talks about more specifically writers who, that's what they do. They're writers, copywriters, or whatever. They write stories or books. It says when you write, let's say, I'll just use this as an example, one chapter, some people just want to hurry up post, blah, blah, blah. But it says wait till the next day, then reread it, and you'll see some of the things you were trying to say didn't exactly type out how you wanted to say it. I say that with your emails and your posts too, but I'll tell you what, if you were doing that would, that's such a time delay. If you would have to wait a day, if I would have to write this audio out, then the next day reread it, edit it, then record it, upload it, that could really be a time killer. Have somebody else look at it for you. Always send yourself your email, read it to make sure it talks about what you think you wrote. Just like I said, you'll be surprised. The brain and fingers work strangely, at least for me they do. I'm going to stop it right there. That'll do it for Audio Curiosity. Never killed email. Email's still around. Everybody's saying that it's dead. It's just another tool. Don't rely on it specifically. Give a like and a comment below with any questions you might have. Check out the resources below in the description box. And don't forget, take that survey. Get that PDF on different learning methods, how we learn. I think it'll make more sense to you, and you might actually be able to absorb more information, not just using one, but using a couple different methods. So, that's it for today's audio. As always, this is Robert G. Solomon. Check out robertgsolomon.com. Get on my private email list. And as always, take care and be cool.